Hello and welcome to A Piece of String, the show that brings together comedians and scientific minds to ask and maybe answer the biggest of all questions ever. I'm Matthew Shribman, I'm a chemist and some might say a biophysicist. And with me today are Sophie Ward, a biomedic and a neuroscience enthusiast.
Hello.
Philly Baines, a human scientist.
Hi.
And Nathan Rawle, a biochemist.
Hi.
Three of us, and three of us only, will ask a question to which one of us secretly knows the answer. And points will be allocated on a entirely arbitrary basis by our producer, Sam Lee. The winner will get this jumbo raisin. It's not that jumbo, is it?
It looks pretty squashed.
It is pretty small. That I'm holding. So,
Pass.
Sophie, you can't pass on the prize. You either win it or you don't. That's how it works.
They're just rubbish green.
If you win the prize, you will have the raisin. Sophie, what's your question for us today?
My question is, why does the raisin have to be the prize? No, my question today, everyone, comes from a place of being a bit nervous about the future. Because my question is, how long do we have until robots overthrow us?
What freaks me out is they are getting cleverer. So, if you talk to Siri and you tell her to get lost and then she goes, well, that's not very nice. And then you develop this kind of bizarre relationship with this all talking. But it doesn't really work, does it? So you're useless and she's just like...
I went to this really good pub quiz the other day that was it was all in jokes, and I was there with my friends and we didn't really know the people who were running it, so we just didn't know the answers to anything. And obviously you're not allowed to use
it. It's a pub quiz based on in jokes.
It's ridiculous. Wow. But it was quite fun. But yeah, you're not supposed to use your phone, are you? But one of my friends just got his phone out and just asked Siri the question, which was clearly an in joke, which Siri, we thought wouldn't know the answer, but actually Siri did.
Wow.
So Siri was in on the joke.
Siri was in on the joke. Yeah, couldn't believe it, actually. Felt pretty left out.
So already the robots are socially overthrowing
Oh my
Matthew.
God, you're right. Yeah. I've seen a video of there's a robot that looks like a dog and it dances to Uptown Funk. It was on Twitter and it was amazing, but also quite scary because it moves like the things from Stranger Things, like the Demogorgon.
Oh,
and it's
God.
Is this the same robot that was trained? Its optimization was that it had to open a door and it had to do it at any cost.
It's so scary.
Yeah, that's it's called Spot.
Yeah, and they made it increasingly difficult for the dog, and the dog started to get increasingly aggressive and fighting off the person who was trying to stop them from opening the door until it eventually managed to get the door open by itself. And the dog looked exactly like the dogs in Black Mirror that were killing everyone in that episode.
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's so scary.
Oh my gosh.
When you said fight them off, how did the dog fight the person off?
The dog being the robot dog?
Yeah, the robot.
It wasn't too aggressive. It wasn't seriously scary, but it's just the way that they learned to kind of, stand their ground and get to the door. Well, I say they. I don't know if it's I guess it's basically alive, isn't it? If it can figure out to open a door. That's the definition of life.
That's the definition of alive.
What's your favourite definition of life?
Mrs. Gren, obviously.
Oh yeah,
Crack
out the year 7 biology.
All of them, but it's respiration,
movement,
reproduction,
respiration,
movement. Yeah.
Can I say, in Japan, they think every object has a spirit, so they're not scared of singularity as much, let's say, as the West.
What's the singularity? Can we get a definition? What is that?
So one of the first singularities was when we invented fire, and then another singularity was when we started the Industrial Revolution, when our output sort of came on in leaps and bounds by orders of magnitude acceleration.
Wait, is singularity then a thing that is just takes over?
So currently there's a singularity. You use the singularity to mean when we can merge our brains with computers, basically when technology becomes good enough that we computers basically become as good as our brains at doing things that humans do and think about.
From what I understood, it's when the robots will become cleverer than us to the point where they actually it's better for them to maybe destroy us.
Yeah, that's going to be a good point.
Okay, so singularity is the moment I'm asking about. When will robots overthrow us? When will the singularity happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, I asked that question about definitions of life. I had a really good have you heard Schrödinger's definition of what it means to be alive?
No.
I think it's really beautiful. His idea was that anything alive is something, because you know how the universe is inherently chaotic. his idea was that anything alive is something that reduces chaos inside itself.
He's obviously not looked inside my brain.
Not human. Humans aren't alive then.
Because the other thing that because people say that robots are really, they're getting better and stronger and more intelligent and all this, but then you occasionally see a robot do something really like stupid, and I can't think of an example right now.
Like they fall over, basically.
Yeah, or like.
Have you seen Simone Gompertz? That's her name, right?
Simone, yeah.
Simone, yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Sorry.
I love her. She's so great.
Her robots, they function perfectly, don't they?
Yeah, they do exactly. Yeah, so
exactly
Simone, she's like a YouTuber who is queen of the shitty robot nation. Can I say that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, the shitty robot nation.
She's so cool. You should check her out. We'll put a link on there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm such a fan. Oh, what a gal. Do a collab with me, Simone, please.
Have you heard of Paro? It's this little friendly seal that they give to people with
Paro.
Paro. It's a seal. It's a fake toy seal, and they give it people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and it reacts to touch, and it's happy, and it goes.
Really?
And it's a good therapeutic effect. But again, it's kind of an example of minor artificial intelligence making the world a better place. So maybe we'll all be happier with fake seals.
So has anyone researched when either Paro or any other robots might overthrow us?
I have.
On there, mate.
Would you like to know what I discovered?
Yeah.
So I split it down into a couple of things. First, we have to figure out how long it'll take robots to get to a stage where they can outperform us in every way. So that's sort of the hardware side, and then on the brain side, there's also separately going on is developing artificial intelligence to a point where it can outcompete us in all kinds of ways. So first of all, I looked at where robotics was at and where it was predicted to be in the future. And at the moment, the main contenders, the sort of most advanced robots in the world, are Asimo, which is a robot made by Honda. And that's the cute little one that looks like a bit like an astronaut looking guy. He's about 4 foot tall. He weighs, I didn't convert that into kilos, but 119 pounds. And
decent size.
He can only run for about an hour.
Ha, loser.
This is what he can do. He can walk up and down stairs, go dance a bit, hop on 1 foot, and run at 5 kilometers per hour, which I think is roughly walking pace. However, they don't see it taking over the world, and it'll be another 10 to 20 years before they even mass produce them for households.
Oh, that's classic, isn't it? When they say 20 years away in science, you know that they have no idea how long it's going to take, right?
Yeah.
Then there's Pepper, who's it's a little bit more static. It's got a really vacant expression, and it's on wheels, and they stick it in retail locations, and it's able to detect the 5 basic human emotions.
Oh,
that's what they say. But cool. I did read a report where a customer got really pissed off and attacked one because he wasn't really happy with the customer service.
I see.
So I've held the big boys off till last. The main contender for overthrowing the human race is Atlas, which is a bipedal humanoid robot developed by Boston Dynamics, which means it has 2 legs. It also sort of has these arms and 2 little spheres for hands.
Spheres for hands?
Yeah, it has
doesn't
rubber
sound very
spheres.
useful.
No, exactly. That's kind of what I'm leading
Unless
up
they're
to.
covered in glue.
I see.
They can grip stuff and like put boxes. They're really impressive. So they've actually, the most recent one that they've created, it only weighs 75 kilos, so roughly equivalent to a human person. It can only carry 11 kilos, which, mate, you do some benches. But it is super agile. So I've got a little video. I know that doesn't really translate.
This is a podcast.
I know, but
no one can see the video.
You guys have to see it.
So
you guys.
the video is
I appreciate that you brought the video in.
video
Can we put
is-
it on
on the Entail, it'll be
Entail.
there. So for
Shove it
those
on.
who don't listen on Entail.
But it's just this
video.
video was released like
Oh
literally
my
this
goodness.
year.
Wow.
So
What
what
a
we've
video.
got here is a robot doing parkour across the rooftops
Parkour.
of Manhattan.
Actually do 180, so it can jump in the air and do 180, so it can quickly turn around.
Oh my
And then
god!
Oh,
just
just a
back
flip. What the hell?
And then
And now
Yay,
it's celebrating.
victory.
Parkour.
Fair enough.
but there's
Wow.
a little bit of saving grace for the human race, at least. He kind of just
Messes it
messes
up.
up.
Yeah,
So
but
that's one of the fun things Sophie was talking about when robots are really crap.
Yeah, but I can't do any kind of backflip.
No, it's true. It's quite scary how agile it is, but it's still dependent on its battery pack, which lasts for 1 hour still. And it's also dependent on having a controller.
Well, it's got a 1 hour battery.
Yeah, 1 hour battery, and it can't actually think for itself either. The second part of my answer was all about the brains. So if we were able to put AI into Atlas,
AI being artificial intelligence.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Atlas,
Atlas is the name of the robot that's able
yes.
to do
The
backflips.
ninja robot.
the ninja one.
And
At last, my love
Singularity is coming up.
is a robot.
There is a time in the future when that will be a really scary thing to hear because you know that's when the robot's coming for you.
God,
Oh my
yeah. Bit of
gosh.
Is it Etta James who sings that?
Yeah.
so the closest thing I could get on the answer to when will AI be clever enough to overthrow us, there was this survey done at 2 of the leading international AI conferences where they got 352 responses, and they're asking questions of how long will it take AI to do X, replace retail salespersons, replace surgeons, write a New York Times bestseller, all the way up to high-level
Overthrow us.
machine intelligence,
Okay.
and replacing all human jobs. And for being as smart as a human, the median prediction was 2060, roughly.
60.
Oh my God, it's like the
that
second
in-
coming of Jesus. Jesus will be a robot.
Whoa.
You just blew my mind.
Another 2,000 years.
Wait, what was in 2060?
So that's when they'll be as smart as all humans.
No, Borov, no
but
chance.
that's bounded by the lower level prediction predicts that it'll be in about
A month?
20 years from
Classic
2016.
20 years.
No,
20
well, this is the thing. So
Yeah,
it's
it's-
actually 40 years. So this is the main prediction is that it'll be about 40 years from now. But they have also say that about fusion power. They always say that that's about 40 years away. So people think it's 40 years away now. But they also said that when they first conceived of fusion energy, they said, oh, it'll be about 40 years.
Just like
until we-
people, it's like when you quote an article and you don't look at the date of the article.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that said it'll be in 40 years. And it was like, but they said it in like 1960. And then you're
Yep.
like, oh, yeah, it's still 40 years.
Cool. So
Okay.
robot's going to overthrow us just after we die. Great.
Oh, you're going to die in 2060.
Yeah, I'm planning it.
Unless
Okay.
unless it follows the same pattern as the nuclear fusion prediction, in which case it'll be indefinitely on hold.
In forever. Cool. Okay,
Relief.
I can deal with that as well.
Self-checkouts aren't good though, are they?
No.
Hate self-checkout.
Amen to that.
They're
I've
not.
I've got some
to that.
Unexpected item. More
I've got
like shut the hell up.
Nathan, have you got a question for me?
Yeah. My question is, if all apes were to die out, what animals do you think would be most likely to evolve to replace us as the dominant intelligent species on the planet?
Toads.
Dolphins.
Dolphin, that Simpsons episode where dolphins take over the world.
Is that what it is? It's in the back of my head. Because immediately I was like, dolphins.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I've got these, Facebook friends who always try and go on holiday and swim and kiss a dolphin, which I'm always like, keep them at arm's reach, leave them in the sea. They'll come and they'll find us and they will hunt you down. They're worse than robots sometimes, I think. Ugh.
I've got a little tally chart going of who we all think is most likely to take over from humans. And so far I've got dolphins with a tally of 2 and toads with a tally of 1 from me. But Nathan, what's your vote on that? Is it
I've several, but
so not dolphins or toads?
I think out of those two, I would vote for dolphins.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
afraid.
Right, dolphins
But
takes
can I-
it.
Depends
can I
if
not-
it's
can I
Hypnotoad.
put my own
Sorry
contenders
to
in?
interrupt. Yeah, I was thinking hypnotoad, but sorry to interrupt. Do carry on.
Okay. Well, the other contenders, I would think, are the most intelligent species, the closest ones to becoming as smart as we are the dolphins, but also the cephalopods. So that's octopus and squid and cuttlefish. And then as well in the bird world, it would be the corvids, so the ravens, the jackdaws, the magpies, because those guys are
Oh,
pretty
they are
damn
smart. Yeah, they are smart.
So that's my input.
I heard that an octopus was able to open a medicine bottle that is usually childproof and is often
take
adult.
the correct amount.
Not sure about that. But it's the tentacles I think we should be concerned with. It's brains and tentacles is a formidable
They
combination.
can get into a lot of places.
Can I propose something also? Like, I think if cats had opposable thumbs, we'd also be in a
No. They just get distracted by lights, wouldn't they? We'll never get anything done.
And they'll never grab it, so...
I just, if toads had opposable thumbs.
Right, this was this toad thing, Matt. Why toads?
Because they're always underestimated. And,
That's not a reason that means that they're good. I was underestimated. That doesn't mean I'm good. It just means people are right.
I want to hear why Matt thinks toads are underestimated. When have they been underestimated before?
Right now.
But you said always. I'm just exploring
It's
this.
the correct level of estimation because it's right. It's not an underestimation. Okay, go on, Matt, go on. So what is your reasoning other than the fact they're underestimated?
Well, they can jump really high, but not too high. They're not trying to contend with the frogs. They've focused a bit more of their brain power on... they've focused a bit more of their energy, on brain power.
I just wondered whether that was an accurate measure of intelligence.
I don't know. Actually... I know very little about toads, so we're going down a deep hole here.
I can jump maybe 2 feet in the air. So
2 feet?
Is that good?
I don't know, how high is that? A foot is like a tissue box, isn't it? It's like 2 tissue boxes.
So not very high.
You can jump higher than that.
I don't think I can. That's how intelligent I am. I'm just not quite there.
So in order to overthrow humans, what do they need? What does this creature need to be good at? Does it need to be buff? Does it need to be smart? Does it need to be all of the above?
It's not to overthrow humans. It's just if humans and every monkey and ape were to die out, which species do you think after hundreds of millions of years would then be dominant on the planet?
So I think one that can master land and sea. I feel
so. Ducks.
Correct. We have the answer.
That's it.
I was just waiting here with the mark scheme of the question with ducks. I just put a little tick next to Philly's name. Correct, 100%. Sorry, Nathan. What were you saying?
I can't remember now.
Ducks are too
negative. Important.
Ducks are too negative. They're too bigger fans of melody.
Oh, very good.
There we go.
Joke. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a joke. I think, Matt. If you squint.
Someone got a little answer?
Yeah. Tell us. Whoever, what creature's gonna be the intelligent one?
Well, I mean, if we're just looking at creatures that are going to be good at surviving, then obviously you got the classic tardigrades with their old temperature scope that they can survive in, down to like minus 270, up to like 149 degrees.
The good old tardigrade again.
You could probably chop it in half with scissors, though. We have said that before.
Survive the vacuum of space, survive the pressure of the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Survive like no moisture and no food for like 30 years and then come back to life. Legends. And then obviously you've got the naked mole rats, particular favorite, which can, they've got the hyaluronin around all their cells. That's a really tough protein that for some reason stops them from being able to, the cells from replicating out of control. So they're essentially immune to cancer. And they can survive.
Useful.
I recently found out that they can survive oxygen deprivation for like 20 minutes. It's fine.
Wow.
They just go into a state of just chill. I think they're beautiful.
I like penis with legs.
Yeah, beautiful.
Do you not think that's beautiful?
Exactly.
And obviously they're superorganisms, so they can that means that they can cooperate really well. So if they're faced with a decision of do I die to protect all of my friends, then the answer is just obviously yes.
Is that what a superorganism is? Loads of organisms that work together.
Essentially, yeah. Sorry, Philly.
They're all inbred, though. This is why.
Yeah.
Oh, you've left that out tactically. I know I know we like them, but let's all be honest. They're all a bit inbred, and we just need to bear that in mind.
didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like 0.8% related to all the rest of them in their little hive.
Crumbs.
Makes sense. But they're good at surviving. They are really good at surviving. But anyway, so the thing is, I've kind of answered this question by slightly deconstructing it. Sorry. You asked, what will replace us as the dominant intelligent species? And I always have a little bit of a problem with this because I don't necessarily think that we're the kind of dominant intelligent species. I always think of us as the dominant, knowledgeable species because we're not really that much more evolved than we were 150,000 years ago when we were just traipsing about the plains, not really, with very few resources and not really having civilization or anything. We haven't really changed a huge amount in terms of our physiology. What we've done is we've kind of evolved a system wherein we can store knowledge and then build that knowledge on top of itself. So that's how we've kind of almost accelerated evolution, but it's not really biological evolution. We've just got very good at storing knowledge and then building on top of it in the future. And so it's difficult to know what creature will be able to have a similar feat of being able to store up knowledge and therefore become as knowledgeable as we have. Yeah, and I kind of find the idea of replacing us quite arrogant because I mean I know this is maybe a bit of a wishy-washy answer, but I kind of think that
Matt, you need to get personal.
I kind of think that we're all just a part of the same thing. We're all alive. We're all trying to spread. All life just tries to spread itself. And by considering ourselves kind of distinct to other animals, I feel like we kind of make ourselves a bit weaker. I personally think that's one of the biggest problems on the planet is that we think of ourselves as special and different to other animals. And we're really just all part of the same old business. Yeah.
Disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, we have proven ourselves to be able to occupy far, through our intelligence, we've shown ourselves to be able to occupy far greater diversity of niches than any other species.
We are
I know
also
that we suck in a lot of ways compared to the tardigrade because they can survive a lot of different things, but
we're also destroying all those
exactly.
niches.
Brutality.
Yeah.
We're
Which is unintelligent.
Yeah, we're pushing the niches so that they fit us. We're not changing ourselves so that we fit the niche.
I just don't believe that we are fundamentally hugely more intelligent than we were 100,000 years ago.
Well, I'd agree with that, but I don't think that's a very long time in evolutionary terms. We're anatomically modern humans appeared about 200,000 years ago, so we haven't really changed much since then, no.
Yeah, but exactly. So most of that time, we weren't necessarily dominant. I'm just saying that I don't think we've become dominant because of our intelligence. I think we've become dominant because of our ability to bring knowledge together and compile it.
Well, it's the communication thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
What is intelligence?
It's how high you can jump in it.
Yeah.
Correct.
And now for the mystery midsection. Just before we started the show, I gave everyone the following question.
What is ankylosing spondylitis?
I then asked everyone to write down a fictional but reasonable sounding answer. I will now read out all of those answers with the real answer mixed in. Everyone will then get the chance to decide which answer they think is right. Number 1. An infection in the soft tissues of the ankles. Number 2. An infection of the inner transparent eyelids of a beaver, causing them to go cloudy. Number 3. A debilitating and painful condition in which the spine and other areas of the body become inflamed. Ankylosing spondylitis, when combined with pankylosing spondylitis, means a whole lot of mischief. And finally, when your joints get crystals in them.
Hashtag science. When your joints get crystals in them and don't ask any questions about it.
There is actually a disorder where you get crystals, I think.
Yeah,
probably
it's
somewhere.
gout.
Oh, is it gout?
Yeah, protein-rich diet.
Oh, well, that one isn't right then. So we can cross that one off. Thanks, Nathan. So we're left with 4.
I like the beaver one in a way because actually ankylosing spondylitis just feels so bizarre that only a beaver could probably get it.
Yeah.
Have you looked at a beaver?
Never.
Just,
I wouldn't look him
weird.
straight in the eye.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well.
Get you with the teeth and slap you with the tail.
Those damp beavers.
No, but what if you fall in love with them?
Ooh.
Then you're in love with a beaver.
Mum, Dad, I want you to meet Trevor, the beaver.
Yeah. Never
You
look him in
can't
the
say
eye.
you've never been in love with a beaver then, have you, Matt? Never seen a beaver that you think, oh, that's a great beaver.
Quite right, because he's never looked at one.
Never looked him in the eye.
What's the slang for beaver? It's beaver slang.
What did you say?
No, beavers doesn't matter. A beaver, in my mind, is slang for something else.
Ankylosing
Yeah.
surely means ankles. Surely.
Yeah, but then you've got the spawn. Yeah, and the spawn fits because it's
Bit
like
on the
soft,
nose, don't you think?
spongy. Bit on the nose. No,
Yeah.
we talk about the ankles, mate. Yeah, it's very much say what you see, that one, isn't it?
My ankles are much, much wider than my feet are long. Kind of like T-bars.
But that's good for stabilization. It's like you're a stabilizer. Like,
Yeah.
I can't fall over sideways.
that's great.
You can never get your socks above your ankles in.
Can't know unless I get them widened.
Cripes. Matt, which one do you think it is?
I don't know. I want you to go first.
No.
Wait,
Well, all right. I'm going to go for spine.
Okay.
I concur. What's your opinion?
I'm going to go for the beaver eyelids.
You did.
I did it on purpose because Matt's nodding and I'm trying to make him feel
Go
like
on,
I'm
Nathan.
trying
What was the answer?
Yeah, kind of. It kind of got it.
It's a spine one.
I got
was
it.
fine,
So
wasn't it?
I got it right.
And Sophie. Yeah. Oh no, wait. Hold on.
Sophie went
Not
for
Sophie.
my answer.
No.
So yeah, Philly and Matthew got it right. A debilitating and painful condition in which the spine and other areas of the body become inflamed. It's sort of like arthritis in the spine. But it's got a fun name, so thumbs up.
Is it as painful as me giving Matt points? Probably more painful than that, to be fair. I shouldn't belittle it.
Who was Beaver Eyelids?
It was Matt. It was
Of course
Matt,
it was
yeah.
Matt. That does sound a lot like one of Matt's answers.
God's sake.
Yeah, that was one of Matt's.
Moving on. Now for a guest question.
Oh.
Colby Staples.
Yes, Colby Staley. What's
Yes,
a great
Colby
name?
Staples.
Hi, Colby.
When will natural selection stop for humans?
It already has, mate.
Has it?
Why?
Yeah, because no one ever dies of natural causes anymore.
I feel like I agree because not long ago I ate chips and gravy off the floor and I'm still here and I really should have been knocked out for that one.
If that
and
was
gravy.
supposed to be fatal, then that should have been that gene should have been weeded out
Yeah.
long ago when they first invented gravy.
I've obviously got an eating
And
chips
chips.
and gravy gene and the fact that I didn't die from eating it off the floor.
Yeah,
I
proof.
just bought it and then I tripped because my trainers were really
Tripped
baggy.
into the thing that was already on the floor.
No, I dropped my own chips and gravy on the
I
floor.
prefer the narrative where you saw it and tripped into it and just opened your mouth and lay down.
I was with a friend as well and I think he was really like, it was a real moment of judgment for me.
I was reflecting the other day and I thought I probably wouldn't have made it past about 8 years old had I existed about 10,000 years ago. Eyesight, no good. Can't spot a mammoth.
Oh, okay.
So speaking of natural selection, what do you guys think about selection boxes of chocolates?
Well, then you naturally
Yes.
select particular ones.
You
Let's
do,
all
don't
be
you?
honest. Why is Bounty still in a
Oh,
celebration
my days,
box?
thank you, Philly. But
Get
there are
it
people
out.
there are bounty
Whoa.
people. There are bounty people that like the bounty. Are you a bounty person?
No, but I definitely don't want them to be left out in the cold, given short shrift, just because
Get rid of it.
they like coconut.
Kick it out.
It's not their fault.
Gross,
You know, it could be
gross.
genetic. You know how there's different ways of people smell different things differently.
It
It's
tastes
an
coriander.
unconscious piece of chocolate and shit chocolate at that. I want that out. I want all strawberry flavoured chocolate out.
Oh my!
I
I feel
want
you were a chocolate
Mint
sisters,
can
mate.
stay on
mint.
a...
I like
but
mint quite a lot.
The rest of it, it's just a spit on the face, you know?
So
You
the
convinced me.
they say that this is one of the reasons why why McDonald's is so successful is because you know what you're going to get, and there's a really strong psychological thing there where people like to know what they're going to get, and that's the thing about selection boxes. People like the ones that have all the familiar stuff. So even though you hate Bounty, maybe you actually like knowing that it's there and knowing that you're not going to like it. Maybe.
No, bounty isn't like a distant, like a distant long lost parent in my life. Like I just don't want it there.
Okay. Well,
Don't try and be soft on bounty.
What?
It's gross.
So, speaking of natural selection,
Sorry, Matt.
have you guys heard this thing about locust swarms?
Which thing? I've heard a few things. Which thing in particular?
So, about how there's this experiment done where there was a swarm of locusts all flying around in a room, and then they gas them all to send them all to sleep, and they meticulously count every single one of them. And then they let them all wake up again, and they all fly around more. And then they wait a while, and then they gas them all, put them to sleep, meticulously count them. And they do this repeatedly over and over again, and they find that the number of locusts gradually goes down with no trace of there being other locusts left behind.
Do they eat each other?
Exactly. So if one of them makes a single mistake in the swarm, like crashing into one of the other ones, for example, then it gets a bit of damage to itself. And then the others notice, and before it can even hit the ground, they've eaten the whole thing. So there's this extremely rapid natural selection going on in a locust swarm to get rid of the weaker ones. And also it allows the swarm in periods when there's less food to still survive by eating itself.
Just like going to an all-girls school.
Just like it. I mean, think about how complicated it would be to be, if you just got suddenly turned into a locust in a swarm and you were like, it's pretty difficult. You're just flying around being like, oh crap.
That's really interesting. Why though does it help them to eat each other? I suppose they're eating each other, I suppose gives them a bit of energy and they're like, I never liked them anyway.
Yeah. It's just a bit of food, isn't it, at the end of the day?
And it prevents them from passing on the clumsy genes that they had.
But would they do that in the wild? Are we creating artificial behaviour here?
That's a good question. What are the controls on that?
Can't know the answer to that. So, moving on. Anyone got an answer to this?
Yeah, natural selection humans.
So I have the answer. And actually, David Attenborough said that natural selection stopped on humans in 2013. No, you just said that in 2013. It didn't stop just then.
I've given it a date.
No, okay.
I feel like David Attenborough could just be the one to decide, though, and it would be true. Yes, and it's
Attenborough
2013, and that's it.
What he says goes. But actually, so he said, since we've been able to rear 95 to 99% of our babies, there's just no natural selection force. And in the context of history, in Shakespeare's time, around 1 in 3 babies made it to 21. So a lot of them died of these diseases. So we have had a big change. And yeah, maybe, okay, naturally, we're not all dying off. But who is, quote unquote, our babies? Now, not every baby is actually born in a place where there's lots of medical infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
So in a lot of other places, a lot of other communities, there is still a huge force of disease killing off large numbers of infants. So actually, natural selection is still live and thriving. So we've got to think about the context we're asking this question. And basically, as long as we're sexually reproducing, the struggle continues. And I just thought I'd highlight a couple of examples of natural selection in the past, couple thousand years, just to show some recent extreme examples. But in 2018, this year, April, the Bajau Sea Gypsies were studied, and they realized that they have genetically changed. So the Bajau Sea Gypsies live around Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia, and they live this nomadic, seafaring life. And they have to dive for their living. So they go and get, oysters and fish quite far down. But they have to breathe underwater. Well, not breathe underwater. They've got gills.
They've got to.
They've got to hold their breath under the water. So they have enlarged spleens, which means they can hold more oxygen in their blood.
No.
That's amazing.
So genetically, they have changed to code for larger spleens, and it means they can go underwater for up to 12 minutes.
That's what spleens are for.
Yeah.
It's weird. They just sit there, don't they? And you're like, what's this? And then you realise.
I thought that was the science. Was we don't really know what.
No, I agree. I did a degree in biomed, and the number of times I had to Google what does the spleen do because I just kept forgetting. It felt so irrelevant.
So
Spleen's it.
Helps you breathe underwater. There we are. So, and then another interesting example is Native Americans. When the British came over, we wiped a huge number of Native Americans off literally from our diseases. And now if you look at their HLA region, which is the area of your genome that codes for immunity, they've skewed it so it's almost near identical peaks, very similar genes to Europeans, and it just goes to show they were the ones who survived because they had resistance. So
because they were similar to us. That's so sad, isn't it?
So gross, yeah.
Really sad, but it just goes to show how, movement and recent forces have shaped our genome. So, I mean, at the moment, there's a guy called Steve Jones from UCL, and he's a genetics, and he said it's still happening, but it's just slowed down. So I suppose we're not seeing maybe extreme examples now, we're not all hopping on one leg because that's suddenly better, but we are still changing. And basically, as long as we're reproducing and death exists, natural selection is here to stay.
there are a couple of mechanisms by which evolution happens. It's not just the slow change of single mutations accumulating. There's also a theory of catastrophic events causing a bottleneck. So it dramatically reduces the population of whatever organism it is down. And then the few people left who have the genes that help them survive the toxic nuclear wasteland that remains after all-out nuclear war, they're the ones that will go on to pass on their genes and repopulate the planet. Interesting
addition to that is that I don't know whether it's related, but basically, in China, there's an overrepresentation of Y chromosome. So that's the kind of male. So there's an overrepresentation of one Y chromosome, and it goes all around China, kind of down into Mongolia and all these other countries. They're like, why this one? They realised it might have been Genghis Khan's Y chromosome. But it wouldn't have been Genghis Khan, because actually, apparently, he was very monogamous to his wife. But his son, Kublai Khan, he's a good contender.
Ah, okay.
Wow. Legend.
And yeah, that's what I've got from natural selection.
Wait, by legend, I meant Genghis Khan was a legend for the nice monogamy.
Moving on. We also kind of, he felt he brought peace to that area, although he did it by killing loads of people.
I did that as well.
But in terms of natural selection, you could argue that actually we're going through a huge evolution in terms of cultural explosion with tech and everything like that. So is it more, I suppose there's a big, memetics, memes. Now we say meme.
Is that memetics? Is that like the study of memes?
Yep.
Is it?
Memology.
You're winding me up.
No,
it's not.
It's memetics.
No, you're nodding. No, you're lying.
And
Sophie said a silly thing.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
all
getting
laugh
Sophie
at
with the memetics meme.
But you could say natural selection is working its way very harshly on memetics. But to be honest, it's a bit of a discredited field now, and even Richard Dawkins has kind of moved away from associating himself from it, despite being one of their founders.
That was memes. That was that. And we have arrived at the end. Points have been allocated by our producer, Sam Lee, according to a system that none of us were aware of until now. Sam, what is the verdict?
Guys, I'd hate for you to think I was discriminating on the basis of intelligence, but basically I am this week. Guesstimating as I have been your IQ based on how high each of you can jump and awarding scores accordingly. What have we got? In fourth and third place, with an inch and a hand respectively, that's a measurement of height, Matthew and Phil. You're going to have to get working on your quads if you want to vault your grey matter into Mensa. Second place, it's Nathan with his self-confessed 2 feet. Pretty bouncy, pretty smart, but this week's winner with an IQ literally through the roof. Oh, well, she's actually going to do it for us live right now. Oh, right.
I'm so high up.
Yep, that was the voice of Sophie from 24 feet in the air. An IQ literally through the roof. Congratulations on this week's win.
Thank you.
Congratulations. For now, thanks to Sophie Ward,
Thank you.
Billy Baines,
Hi!
all right, Nathan Roll,
Thank you very much.
Matthew Shribman, that's me, our producer, Sam Lee, and Unbound for their generosity in hosting and supporting us. You can follow us on social media by searching A Piece of String or String Podcast.
I'm down from the roof and telling you that I've got social media too. If you want to see what I'm up to on YouTube or Twitter, I'm at Soph's Notes, and I talk about biology and stuff.
If you want to follow me, Philippa Baines, you can follow me on Twitter, which is pitbaines13, and also in my spare time, I am the rapping dinosaur of Kent, fighting climate change and extinction through song. Follow me at Dino of Kent on Facebook.
And you can find me on Instagram at ncmr.hi.
And if you'd like to learn many and various scientific curiosities from a man in a bath or otherwise located, you can follow me on social media by searching Science in the Bath or Matthew Shribman.
Got a quirky question you want to ask us, then feel free to post it or pose it on any of our social media channels or via the form on our website. We'd really appreciate it. We love guest questions.
Thanks for listening. Please rate and review us on Spotify, iTunes, etc. It makes a really big difference in spreading the word. We'll be back in a fortnight, and as usual, let's never speak of any of this ever again.